Welcome to the inside story on the endocrine system. Hey, Adam, I need you to help me out by donating your hormones to a worthy cause.
That sounds terrific.
Oh, sorry, Adam. Great thought, wrong cause. I volunteered us for an exhibit at the community health fair.
Oh, no.
We're in the endocrine system booth. I need you to explain your hormones as part of the presentation.
Oh.
Look at all the people who came to the health fair this year.
Do I have to do this?
For Adam to mature and function throughout life, Adam requires a great deal of communication between his brain and other organs throughout his body. Adam's nervous system and its wiring are responsible for some of this communication, but much of it occurs via chemical messengers that are part of his endocrine system.
Hey, he's wearing underwear made out of leaves. I want some underwear made out of leaves, too.
It's okay, Jimmy. This is a science exhibit. He's wearing those clothes so you can learn about his body parts. You people are disgusting.
See? What did I tell you?
To see an animation on the components of the endocrine system, click the picture.
My endocrine system is primarily composed of glands that produce chemical messengers called hormones. They're made in one part of my body and then travel to other locations through my bloodstream. My most important endocrine glands are my pituitary gland, my thyroid gland, my parathyroid glands, my thymus, my adrenal glands, and my pancreas.
Adam's endocrine and nervous systems actually work very closely together. His brain continuously sends instructions to his endocrine system and in return receives feedback from them. This process continues around the clock throughout Adam's life. Because of this intimate relationship, Adam's nervous and endocrine systems are referred to as his neuroendocrine system. Let's take a look at his hypothalamus. It's known as the master switchboard because it's the part of Adam's brain that controls his endocrine system. That pea-sized structure hanging by a thin stalk from his hypothalamus is his pituitary gland. It's called the master gland of his body because it regulates the activity of his endocrine glands.
My hypothalamus sends either hormonal or electrical messages to my pituitary gland. In turn, my pituitary gland releases hormones which travel through my bloodstream to my endocrine glands.
Here's how Adam's endocrine system keeps itself in check. Eventually, his hypothalamus detects the rising level of the target organ's hormones and sends a message to his pituitary gland. His pituitary gland releases a hormone into the bloodstream that causes the target organ to stop producing its hormones. The endocrine system constantly adjusts Adam's hormone levels so that his body can function normally. This process is called homeostasis.
What's this?
Homeostasis, Adam. It's the state of balance we need inside us to keep our bodies running smoothly. To see an animation on homeostasis, click the picture. Homeostasis is a state of balance inside your body, where your body's systems work together to keep you functioning normally. Adam's endocrine system keeps this internal balancing act going by releasing chemicals called hormones. The release of the hormones is controlled by negative feedback mechanisms. A negative feedback mechanism works something like a thermostat in your home. Let's look. A thermostat helps maintain a constant temperature. Think of that as the normal range. When the temperature rises beyond the normal range, the thermostat turns on the air conditioner. Eventually, the air conditioner restores the temperature to the normal range. That's negative feedback. You start with the normal range, you go beyond the normal range, and then back to normal again. Now, let's look at how this mechanism works in the body. One example is how the endocrine system controls the amount of sugar in the bloodstream. Insulin is a hormone secreted by the pancreas that maintains a normal amount of sugar in the bloodstream. Shortly after Adam eats a candy bar, tiny sugar molecules enter his bloodstream, raising his blood sugar levels. In response, his pancreas secretes the insulin into his bloodstream. Now, the sugar molecules move out of his bloodstream and in to the cells of his skeletal muscle, fat, and liver. In turn, Adam's blood sugar levels return to normal. And that's how a negative feedback mechanism works to maintain the body's internal balance.
Whew. It's good to be at homeostasis again. As you saw, homeostasis maintains a system of checks and balances on my endocrine glands. If it didn't, I could have some very serious problems.
Well, I must admit that you've shown us a lot of useful information. By the way, I apologize for being so rude earlier.
That's okay. We sometimes get that reaction. It's understandable.
I like what you people are doing. Children should be exposed to the health sciences while they're young.
Adam, why don't you continue our presentation on the endocrine system?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, come here, my boy, and I'll tell you a story about my pituitary gland.
To see the inside story on Adam's pituitary gland, click on the picture.
Here's my pituitary gland. The illustrators will enlarge it for you. There, that's better.
And there's Adam's hypothalamus directly above. His hypothalamus decides which hormones his pituitary should release by sending it either hormonal or electrical messages.
Growth hormone acts on muscle and bone, increasing the size of both.
If Adam had received insufficient growth hormone during childhood, he would have a condition called pituitary dwarfism. If he had received too much growth hormone as a child, he would have a condition called gigantism. Adam is going to continue being a good sport, and let us morph his facial features. Too much growth hormone exerting its effects on a body that has already matured physically results in a condition called acromegaly. Here, facial features become rough and coarse. The voice becomes deeper, and hand, foot, and skull size expand. Thanks, Adam.
Oh, anytime, Eve. In response to hormonal commands from my hypothalamus, my pituitary gland releases a hormone called thyroid-stimulating hormone, or TSH. TSH stimulates my thyroid gland to release its own hormones, called T3 and T4. These hormones travel through my bloodstream to stimulate the metabolism in other cells throughout my body.
Adam's pituitary can also release a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, that affects the production of urine. ADH is produced in his hypothalamus and is transported to his pituitary, where it's stored. When ADH is released by the pituitary, it delivers a message to Adam's kidneys, causing it to become water conservation-minded. His kidney then absorbs more of the fluid that passes through it. As a result, less urine is produced.
Because alcohol inhibits the release of ADH by the pituitary, drinking beer or other alcoholic beverages results in increased urine production.
My pituitary gland produces other hormones as well. Follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH, and luteinizing hormone, or LH, are hormones which affect my ovaries and egg production. In Adam's case, these same hormones affect his testes and sperm production. Prolactin is a hormone that affects breast tissue in nursing mothers. ACTH, which is shorthand for a hormone with a name that's far too difficult to pronounce, causes my adrenal glands to produce important substances that have properties similar to steroids. Growth, puberty, baldness, Even sensations like hunger and thirst are just a few examples of the processes that are under the influence of our endocrine system. Dr. Harper, what are anabolic steroids and how do they affect the body?
Anabolic steroids are drugs used to treat various skeletal and muscle growth disorders. These steroids are variations of the male sex hormone testosterone, which increases bone and muscle mass during puberty. In the 1960s, bodybuilders and athletes who wanted greater muscle size and strength took large doses of steroids. However, the resulting advantage over their competitors had a price. Doctors now know that anabolic steroids damage the liver severely, causing liver failure and even liver cancer. The steroids cause mood swings, often accompanied by aggressive behavior. Other effects include increased blood pressure and changes in blood cholesterol levels that may lead to coronary artery disease, and in men, infertility may result. In women, steroids hinder the development of eggs and ovulation and interfere with the menstrual cycle. Taking large amounts of steroids, called doping, to increase athletic performance is illegal. An athlete caught doping faces stiff penalties and serious health risks.
Thank you both for taking the time to explain the endocrine system.
You're welcome.
I want some underwear made out of leaves.
Okay, Timmy. Speaking of leaves, I think we better be going. Goodbye. Wouldn't you like a nice ice cream cone instead?
No.
How about a pretzel?
No.
How about nothing at all?
No.
Bye.
What a day.
But you know, I have to admit that this health fair was kind of fun.
You were just great, Adam. I always knew you were good with children. Which reminds me, do I remember you're having an interest in another system earlier today?
Now that you mention it.
I told you these hormone lectures would come in handy.
Welcome to the inside story on the immune system. This weekend, our niece Yvette has come over to visit with us. She and Eve are in the family room right now doing the crossword puzzles. Hey guys, how's it going in there?
Aunt Eve, this crossword puzzle is tough. I'm still stuck on 4 down.